Welcome once again to Commander by Danon. Today we continue to build decks led by the new legendary creatures from the Final Fantasy set. Leading today's deck is the main villain of Final Fantasy II, the Emperor of Palamecia. Also, and I know it's annoying to keep hearing this, but statistically if I don't ask you to like and subscribe, the video gets fewer subscribers. The Emperor of Palamecia is a 2-mana 2/2 legendary human noble wizard. We may tap him to add either blue or red mana, but we may only use that mana to cast a non-creature spell. Whenever we cast a non-creature spell, if at least 4 mana was spent to cast it, we put a +1/+1 counter on the Emperor of Palamecia. Then, if he has 3 or more +1/+1 counters, we transform him. Transformed, he becomes the Lord Master of Hell, a legendary 3/3 demon noble wizard. It is important to note that because we're not exiling him, the +1/+1 counters stay, so keep that in mind if you're playing him. Additionally, whenever he attacks, he deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of non-creature, non-land cards in our graveyard. Quick note for you newer players watching this video. There are several double-sided cards in Magic. Some of them you exile, then return to the battlefield transformed, while others just flip over, like the Emperor of Palamecia. The reason for this is that some cards require counters to be put on them to function, namely Planeswalkers. The Flipwalkers all exile and then return, because part of the Enter's ability for all Planeswalkers is starting loyalty. Otherwise, they would just flip over, have 0 loyalty, and die, which is the last thing you want to have happen. But a card like the Emperor stays a creature. Sure, the creature type, size, and abilities change, but the card type isn't any different. So because he doesn't exile then return, the +1/+1 counters stay, along with any auras or equipment that are on him at the time. Okay, time for a little bit of lore. Final Fantasy II had a complex but interesting plot, and I love how at the start of the game your characters walk up to the princess of a defeated kingdom and offer to help, and she's all, "No, you're too weak, go away." Okay, she's not that rude about it. She's worried we would hurt ourselves and doesn't want us to sacrifice ourselves on behalf of her kingdom. But still, I think it was fun to have a refusal of the call come from the princess of the nation we're trying to save. Anyway, Palamecia wants to conquer the entire world, and the Emperor doesn't care if the world submits or dies. Our heroes eventually confront him in his castle and defeat him, only to have a portal from hell open up. It turns out that the Emperor was so strong-willed he was able to conquer hell itself and become the ruler. Now he's back and wants to destroy the whole world. So now we have to find a way into Pandemonium to defeat him. Again. But for this deck, we're not worried about destroying the whole world. I didn't build a mass land destruction deck just to stay on theme, so don't worry, dear viewer. I did create a deck that would allow us to swing out with our commander and kill the table, though, if circumstances allow. Also, I wanted this to be a budget deck, so you can build the entire deck for under $100, at least at the time of recording. But before we get to our deck list, a quick word from our sponsor, Ultimate Guard. One of my favorite products Ultimate Guard has is their Xenoskin Sidewinder. The Sidewinder has a soft microfiber lining as well as the rugged Xenoskin shell we've all come to love. While the Sidewinder isn't a new product, they are now available in the beautiful two-tone Synergy series, like this blue-red one seen here. Find out if your local game store carries Ultimate Guard products, or click the link down below to order yourself one from Amazon. In order to build a functional commander deck, you need lots of different pieces, which is why I try to rely on my handy-dandy checklist. 50 mana sources, usually split between 37 lands and 13 pieces of ramp, 10 pieces of card advantage, 8 to 10 pieces of spot removal, 2 to 3 board wipes, 2 pieces of graveyard hate, and 1 sudden I win card. Oh, one more quick announcement before we get started. I'm currently streaming over on Gaming with Danon as well as Twitch. It'll mostly be Final Fantasy XIV, but you're more than welcome to pop in and talk about Commander. Honestly, about half my streams are talking about manga, anime, or Commander. Our land base consists of Command Tower, Exotic Orchard, Sulphur Falls, Volatile Fjord, Molten Tributary, Ferris Lake, Cascade Bluffs, Shivan Reef, Frostboil Snarl, Temple of Epiphany, Is It Boilerworks, Silverbluff Bridge, Is It Guildgate, Prismari Campus, Swiftwater Cliffs, Myriad Landscape, Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, Scavenger Grounds, 9 Islands, and 9 Mountains. Yes, I know that's a bit more tap lands than I normally run, but I wanted to have a lot of colored lands, especially with our mana ramp. For mana ramp, we've got Mana Geyser, Stormkiln Artist, Goblin Electromancer, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Talisman of Creativity, Is It Signet, Sky Diamond, Fire Diamond, Felwar Stone, Chromatic Lantern, Decanter of Endless Water, Firemind Vessel, Hedron Archive, Thrawn Dynamo, Ring of the Lucci, Stone Speaker Crystal, Gilded Lotus, Pyromancer's Goggles, and Empowered Autogenerator. I wanted a lot of mana rocks that were 4 mana value or higher so they could trigger either side of our commander. Either they help us grow our commander and they help us cast big spells, or they finish off our opponents. And I know that some of you are going to point out that Goblin Electromancer doesn't help us with the front side of our commander, because he specifically counts mana spent to cast, not mana value. I know, sometimes we don't want to flip him yet, but we always want high value spells in our graveyard. Our card advantage package consists of Sorceress's Schemes, Big Score, Unexpected Windfall, Pirate's Pillage, Factor Fiction, Decaying Time Loop, Channeled Force, Drown in Dreams, Frantic Search, Archmage Emeritus, Steam Augury, Arcane Epiphany, Careful Consideration, and Path of the Pyromancer. For interaction and spot removal, we've got Rewind, Counterspell, Abrade, Mystic Confluence, Chaos Warp, Spell Swindle, Negate, Arcane Denial, Spellgyre, Bolt Bend, and Suplex. Lots of ways to remove annoying permanents or to protect our commander. Our board wipes consist of Aetherize, Blasphemous Act, Ill-Timed Explosion, and Chandra's Ignition. Gotta love clearing a path so our commander can destroy everything. Core of our deck consists of Traumatize, Cut Your Losses, Protective Bubble, Harmonic Prodigy, Swiftfoot Boots, Full Throttle, Veyron Voice of Duality, Mizzix Mastery, Shark Typhoon, Drake Umbra, Zephid's Embrace, and Uncivil Unrest. Supporting our plan, we've also got Swarm Intelligence and Fiery Emancipation. Gotta love having lots of ways to close out our decks. Now that we have our deck list, let's compare it to our checklist. 58 mana sources split between 37 lands, 20 pieces of ramp, and our commander. High, I know, but a good chunk of our mana ramp is over 4 mana, which helps to enable our deck's plan. 14 pieces of card advantage. 11 pieces of interaction. 4 board wipes. 2 pieces of graveyard hate in Scavenger Grounds and Stone Speaker Crystal. Several Sudden I Win cards. Okay, so Traumatize and Cut Your Losses not only trigger our commander, adding counters and possibly flipping him, they also fill our graveyard with a ton of cards. And since we have a lot of cards with mana value 4 or higher, it should help us to close out the game. However, if we're unlucky and only have 10 or so in the graveyard, that's not enough. But if we have a Harmonic Prodigy on board, or an Uncivil Unrest, or a fiery emancipation, that will make a huge difference. Remember, the Lord Master of Hell's ability is a triggered ability. It says whenever, which means Harmonic Prodigy doubles the trigger. Uncivil Unrest doesn't care about the type of damage, it just doubles damage. And Fiery Emancipation is great for closing out games quickly. Are you building an Emperor of Palamecia deck? What's your secret deck tech? Leave a comment below. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, a huge shout out to my editor Cute Stuff. I couldn't make these videos without her. If you'd like to hire her to edit your own videos, she can be reached at cutestuff.edits@gmail.com. Link is down below. If you're looking for ways to support the channel directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/Danon. You can have a video made or just ask for help building or tuning a deck list. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to all of my patrons: Waffles, Jiraiya, Muffins, Marcus, Brett, Roxy, Alix, Borgie, Nasman Conga, Robert Pye, Kazaris, Patrick, Tiz, Art, Richard, Sint, Boomy, Osira, Justin, Golden Walker, Ernesto, Midge, and Captain Hammer. You guys are awesome. I post new Commander deck videos every weekday, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of new videos. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all again next time on Commander by Danon.